Welcome to Wedding Day Podcast with your hosts, Sonja Babich, CEO of Iron Diamond Media, a leading wedding resource featuring 7 localized wedding brands across the country.
Hi everybody, Sonja Babich here with Wedding Day Podcast. I'm with my co-host today, Alexis.
Hey guys.
With Oregon Wedding Day and Washington Wedding Day. And we're actually in Oregon at the Canopy Hotel. And we're sitting here with our great members, Abbey Road Farm. And Kristen's here, and so is Breanna. They are quite the duo, and I'm so excited that you guys are here. And what I love is, like, you've been doing this for 4, but how this started was you were a bride of Kristen's.
I was.
That's one of
I
haven't heard that yet.
I love it.
So you must have just had too much fun. You just wanted to stay.
I did. When I originally planned, or not even planned, first time I visited Abbey Road Farm, our main reception space wasn't even built yet. So she showed me like renderings and blueprints.
Gosh.
And but the second I stepped out of my car, it just felt special, and I was like, "This is it. I don't need to see anything else." But then I got to see the building finish well in time before my wedding. And I loved it so much that I just kept coming back to the tasting room and other events that were happening. And then eventually she offered me a job because she couldn't get rid of me. And I've been there for 4.5 years now.
Oh my gosh, and it's kind of fun to, we all have a soft spot who helped us plan our wedding day. So you don't know, but she has a soft spot.
Yeah, I do. You guys are bonded.
Well, at that point, we were still fairly new when I booked her and the planning process, and we just kind of clicked. We worked really well together. Our communication was really great back and forth, and I think that helping her through the wedding really let us get to know each other and how we would work together. And then, like she said, she kept coming back to the tasting room, and I pretty much lived there. So I always saw her, come in with her mom and, drinking wine and things like that. So we just got to know each other kind of more on a friendship level. And she was looking to leave her current role. And I was like, well, hey, at that time I was a one-woman show, and so I needed help, and she seemed like the perfect fit, and she was.
So I think
here we are.
Break down. You just said tasting. So Abbey Road Farm is a winery.
We are, yes.
In Oregon.
It is in Oregon, yeah. In the heart of Willamette Valley. Yeah, we've got an 82-acre property, and about 45 of those are planted with grapes. So it's a beautiful vineyard.
So what was the process of like building up the wedding venue like?
And like, bringing the couples too to be like, if we build it, it will come.
Yeah, it was a little bit of that. Yeah, so the property was actually, the facility that our space is in was originally a horse riding arena. So it was a pole barn. So when we purchased it, it was dirt floors and a pole barn basically with tin roofing. So we spent about 1.5 years building that out into the space right now. So it still very much looks like a barn, but I call it farm sexy, if I can say that. So it's dressed up quite a bit.
I think that's the first time I've heard of farm sexy.
I think we're going to hear it again.
I feel like it's a
I'm
trend
going to
now.
help bring it to life.
Yeah, we kind of went through that phase where everybody wanted the barn, the rustic barns, and we're still a barn, but not that rustic. We're definitely more elevated.
I hope you're
that.
using that hashtag.
I was going to say, I hope you have a tractor.
We do have a few tractors, yes. Yeah.
So, and it's about 45 minutes from Portland, so it's not too far.
Not too far.
But it feels like you're in a different
place.
world. Yeah, you kind of feel like it's a destination, but yeah, with no traffic, it's only a 45-minute trip into the city, so you can kind of get the best of both worlds.
So what are your couples typically doing when they book your venue for their wedding? Is it like a weekend-long experience? Are they taking advantage of the city and the vineyard? Tell me,
So I always encourage my couples to tell their guests to spend a long weekend in wine country. So we have renovated grain silos on property that are now at 5 individual suites, and they're absolutely beautiful. And so a lot of times it's bridal party and family that stay. We also, for events and club members only, have a ranch house. So we can sleep up to 18, and so more often than not, it's a full weekend experience. So they check in on Friday night, the wedding's on Saturday. They have breakfast in the morning from our amazing chefs. And
so you have an executive chef on staff?
We do, and a full garden, so most of it comes,
Farm
literally
to
straight from the farm.
That's lovely.
And like eggs from our chickens. And it's an amazing experience for everyone involved. And then, of course, weddings on Saturday evening, and then they check out Sunday morning after another lovely breakfast.
So you're seeing the common likeness of like it's a weekend wedding.
Mm-hmm.
It's an experience.
It is
People
definitely
are
an
spending a
experience.
lot of time out there. And I think we're very centrally located in wine country. So you can pop into McMinnville and visit their bars and really nice restaurants. You can visit other tasting rooms in the area. We're surrounded by hundreds of tasting rooms. So you can really make it what you want and customize the experience for your guests.
How many of your couples join your wine club after?
It's a requirement.
Oh.
Yeah. But most of them want to.
Yeah.
A part of our experience and like our tour, when you come tour with us, we'll take you into the tasting room and get a glass of wine to walk around with. When you're planning your wedding with us, we sit with you in the tasting room and help you pick out your wedding wine. So it's a whole experience.
Is the
So you
dinner
become
paired?
a member and you book your wedding.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can come back and visit us on anniversaries and all sorts of things, which a lot of other venues, there's not really an excuse to go back and visit. So this is
Yeah.
kind of a cool way to revisit your wedding day.
I love
Wow.
that.
Can you I heard this before, like custom label like your wine for their weddings. I'm sure that might be a common wish that they ask you to do.
I've definitely been asked, but it's quite a process to label wines in the first
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
So unfortunately,
We don't do it personally, but
Yeah.
there are services that could do that for people, and you could take our wine and do
And
that
do the
with
label.
it. Yeah.
So I'm assuming like when you are at your winery, like they have to serve your wine on property.
correct.
Yep.
And that's a great thing just to educate couples on in general, to assume that if you do a brewery or a winery, you're gonna need to use their product.
Yeah, I think we're unique in the Willamette Valley, however, in that.
Well, at least you're good wine.
Yeah, I mean that too. But we have a minimum wine requirement, and once you hit that, you can serve beer, mixed drinks for a couple hours, and you can bring in other wine if you wanted to. So I think we're pretty unique in that way
gonna ask
that you
about
can
that.
serve other things.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like everybody's taste palette is different.
Yeah,
And the Grandpa Joe wants to have his Manhattan.
for sure.
And he wants a
Yeah.
Manhattan, so gotta make those dreams a reality.
Yeah, and with our different wine varietals that we have on property, we have about 29 different SKUs that you can choose from for your wine selection. So
I'm sure you get the rehearsal too
a lot of times, yeah, we definitely do. And we have smaller spaces on the property, like our tool shed hangout area. And we have a cellar room that we can do smaller dining events in as well. So you can certainly do it on property. And we also partner with other venues that are close to us to offer that service as well.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
So how many people can stay on the property?
18.
18. I was like, you're like a mini resort.
Yeah.
Well, you are. You have food, you have lodging, you have like your entertainment of wine, being a winery. Like you are. You're a mini resort.
We also have our farm animals that people can walk around like during cocktail hour and go visit the cows.
Where's
That's
Chelsea?
so good.
I just want to squish them.
Yeah, we have alpacas and goats and donkeys and
Do you guys-
Highland cows and all
Do you have a
sorts
lot of
stuff.
couples use them in the wedding, or
Yeah,
you guys don't really do
they're
that?
not really photogenic. I mean,
No.
they are. They're beautiful, but they're not really gonna pose with you for
Right.
photos.
Yeah.
They're true farm animals.
Unless you're lucky.
Yeah, unless you're lucky. But our cows will come up to the fence, and you can pet the cows,
They're pretty
and
friendly. The
they're
donkeys
very
will, too.
friendly. Yeah.
So this is such an experience, but I'm sure your team is like educating the entire time when you have guests on your property, from the animals to the wine,
Yeah.
the food.
Yeah, there's a lot of educating and telling people what we do and how we do it, which is, I think, a part of the experience. You're kind of getting this opportunity to host an event in a really cool place with
Unique
all of these
environment.
unique things that
Yeah.
you can't find anywhere else.
So how many different venues are on your property? Like, can they be strictly outside or inside, or is it a combination?
They could be strictly outside minus dancing, but most of the time it's outside ceremony, indoor-outdoor cocktail hour, and an indoor reception is what most people choose. But we have we have 3 total ceremony spots, but everyone uses the main one, which is our turf lawn that overlooks our vineyard, and it's beautiful and it's hard to beat
it. What are the other options?
The other option is what we call a wedding triangle. So it's this cute little triangle deck that is right in front of the vineyard. And it's real grass and there's trees and it's beautiful with the vines right behind you, but still does not beat that turf lawn that's like elevated up above
Yeah.
everything.
It's the best view.
Yeah.
So what I know you wanted to like kind of educate couples what to look for when they're finding the perfect venue, and with being a past bride and then now in this role, and you being her mentor and planner and coordinator for the venue, what would you tell couples to look for when they're trying to find their dream wedding venue?
I would make sure, number one question, seems probably obvious, that is ask your venue or ask potential venues what their alcohol policy is, because they all differ. We have a fairly flexible one, but we still have some rules. Another question that gets missed a lot is, what does tear down look like?
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
And when you can start decorating.
Yeah, when you can start, when access starts, when you have to be out, can you pick up the next day? Can rentals be delivered the day before or pick up after? Asking all of those really important questions before booking.
This is such a good topic.
Yeah.
So I would love to know, what are your rules, and I'll share past and what we've also heard, because it is a very important thing.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Load in and load out.
And I think it's something that couples who are obviously planning an event for the first time don't think about. You're thinking about how beautiful your wedding day is going to be and how much fun it's going to be.
Do you
but
guys
those
work with
logistics
It
at
is
the
a lot
end.
of work.
Yeah.
Do you guys work with a lot of planners, or you?
We require a day
You
of
do.
coordinator
Okay.
at least. Yeah.
And again, I know our listeners could be venues that are needing a little hand holding right now, and I swear to them, we're make it a requirement.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
It
It
makes
just
everybody's
makes
day better.
Yeah, otherwise they're turning it over to a family member or a friend.
Or they
expect us to do it. Yeah.
And that's where, again, I was the one-stop shop that didn't require, and I'm just like, want to just be like, your life will be easier,
You'll
trust
thank
me.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
what are your hours of your operation for like doors open? Because they're waiting.
They are often waiting. Yes.
So access to the venue starts at 12, and then dancing, music has to be off by 10 p.m. That's a county ordinance, and then we give vendors an hour to clean up. So all out by 11. There is some flexibility with that. If people are staying on property, they
Right.
can move all of their personal items to the what we call our conference room. And so that way we can clean the main space, especially if we have an event the next day.
Yeah.
And they can pick up their personal belongings in the morning when they check out from the bed and breakfast.
Okay.
Same thing, again, if they're staying the night before their wedding, a lot of times they'll drop off their personal items into the conference room the night before, not set anything up, but at least it's unloaded. It's out of the
Right.
car. And then when the planners and whatever get there at noon, they can just get to
start.
work.
I
Just
love
go.
this conversation so much, because I just want to, some of these venues, they open their doors at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And it's so early. I was a 9 a.m.er.
Yeah.
And sometimes people wouldn't, decorator or whoever doesn't really show up until 11:30.
Yeah.
The common one that you would see that would show up earlier was like hair and makeup.
Yeah.
You know, if they needed to be on the property.
Yeah.
But I know our listeners, when you said noon, they'd be like, noon?
Yeah.
How am I
Yeah.
supposed to
everything,
decorate this?
yeah.
So I think we're pretty unique in that we provide all of the tables and chairs, all of the heavy lifting items. We do that.
Yeah.
So it's all set up when you get there.
And I want to be like, if you have a florist and you have a decorator, they have done this before.
They're pros and
Yeah.
they can do it much quicker
Yes.
than
2
the
hours,
average Joe.
and they
Yeah.
come in and they're boom, 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 boom. They know it.
Yeah.
But of course, if you're hearing it's an extravagant wedding, you're gonna be like, well, we can open the doors earlier, but it'll be a fee.
Yeah, there's definitely charges if you
Yeah.
need extra setup time.
And that's okay to ask or request that, knowing that you need to pay more for that time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when it comes to hair and makeup, 99% of our couples stay on property, and the ranch house comes in handy. There's amazing natural light in there, and usually that's where hair and makeup happens. And then as soon as the venue access starts, then they move from the ranch house to the bridal suite.
Yeah.
And we'll like put on the dress and do all the like final
pretty
touches and
things,
stuff
yeah.
in the bridal suite. So they can still do it on property, just not like in the building.
And it's awesome to have a bridal suite on the property, but it is great to have a little separation.
Yeah.
Because you will start seeing everything happening
Yeah.
in the
And
venue.
hearing things too.
Definitely hear things like, oh, they're vacuuming upstairs.
Yeah. Also, it's nice to be able to walk in and be like, it's all done
Right.
for me.
It's the
I don't
surprise.
have to think
Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, it's great to be one-stop shop and everything, but it is nice to have movement in your day. Don't be stuck in your venue. That'd be a challenge for our listeners, just to have movement in your day.
Yeah.
Don't be just all in the building.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can be
Yeah.
close to the building,
Right.
but you just take a little breather.
But that's why you hired the professionals.
Yeah.
is to get it done for you.
To not be
so
there
you don't
watching
have
it
to-
all go down.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
going back to cleanup, it does happen in an hour.
It does.
It does.
Yeah, breakdown is way faster.
Those vendors
than-
want to leave faster than we
yeah.
do. So they're like, we're out.
Yeah, and behind the scenes, we're gradually cleaning.
Oh, yes.
And you're not noticing while you're dancing.
Yep, all the dishes are gone, all the decor is gone, minus
Yeah.
some flowers and candles, and then
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's moments like I don't want it to feel like we broke down before your wedding day, because you don't want to be rude, because it's like you
Yeah.
don't want your day to end, but there is a gradualness.
There's
Yeah.
a way to do it so it's not as much work when
Abrupt.
those lights go on.
Yeah.
At the end of
they're
the
all on the
night.
dance
Yeah.
floor anyway.
Yeah.
They are, and maybe a little tipsy while they're doing
That
it.
also that.
Yeah, but those goodbye hugs. Oh, it was the best day.
Yeah.
And all of us are counting down till the last hug.
Right.
too.
Yeah, definitely.
So, what are some of the fun, crazy stories that happen at the winery? And we don't have to say names, but it's good to talk about some of those things. Just
yeah.
to be like, we try our best to make it perfect, but there's some curveballs that can
Yeah,
happen.
that's
And
what I was
usually
thinking
from
about.
like
Yeah.
guests, I'm sure.
This is always a hard question to me because I try to block them out.
we try to move on
I try
quickly.
to just like, hey,
That's
happened.
over.
But if you could share a story that like, if things happen on a day and we got your back,
Wow. This is actually kind of an awful story, but we had, I think it was an aunt. She was boogieing a little too hard on the dance floor, slipped, fell, broke her wrist, but she was such a trooper, and she was like, I'm fine. And the funny thing is that the mother of the bride, whose wedding it was, at the aunt's son or whatever wedding, she had broken a wrist or an arm or something. The same thing. And so, anyway, so the
It's a family
coordinator
thing.
left, so then I became coordinator because she took the aunt to the hospital, and so I took over. And most people didn't even know it even happened.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like,
Yeah.
like, what? So-and-so broke something?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what? And they had no clue, but we just made it.
The party went on.
The party
Yeah.
went on, and it was fine.
That's the best when nobody knows
nobody
what the
knows.
hiccup was.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
And especially like broken bones. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
No
don't
fun.
think your aunt's going to break your arm or having too much fun. My best friend, she broke her foot.
At your wedding?
Yeah,
Oh,
and it was when
no.
she was getting off the bus after the dance party.
Oh, at least,
At least
you got
it didn't
to
happen
dance.
before.
Yeah.
You said getting off the bus, I was like, oh my
best part
God,
is-
arriving? That's got to be terrible.
I know, but the best part is, I know my aunt's laughing right now, but she showed up at the gift opening with her foot elevated and writing down all the
Oh
notes.
my gosh,
She's
I love
like,
it.
I am gonna
What a-
fulfill my duty.
What a trooper.
That's
So
a
funny.
trooper.
Yeah. I think too, like another one early on is we're so far away from the city, and most rental companies are down in Portland. So if they forget something or the order's incorrect, it's quite a process to
Right.
get other stuff
Yeah.
out there. But I think we're also unique in that we have so many other things, the tasting room and the bed and breakfast. So one rental company forgot to bring a whole set of knives for 150 people, and we scrambled
I can
remember
see your
that.
to
face.
get.
They need the knives.
Yes, the knives are important. So
had,
we
like, steak or
scrambled
something.
and got together enough
wow.
knives from around the property so that they didn't have to go without. So,
So you said 150. What's the average wedding size on your property?
yeah.
Probably between 120 and 160.
And what's your max?
200.
200.
Is that your
Okay.
favorite because then you get all rounds or?
Yeah.
My favorite is like 80 to 120.
Oh, okay.
Just we have a large space, and that may seem like too much space for that many people, but you have more flexibility with your floor plan.
Yeah.
Versus when you have 200 people, you're kind of limited on
where
what you can do creatively.
Yeah.
I love that you brought that up too. And that's why it's good to share like your anticipated real guest count. Of course, I'm going to have 200 people and it gets down to 120.
Yeah.
Right? But to show the different flexibility of the layout could be if you do have a smaller guest
You can
count.
get way more creative and have other, more fun elements for entertainment in there. And for us, it also allows us to do a rain plan. So if it's raining and you can't go outside, we can host the ceremony and the reception in our space without having to flip the floors.
But I think it's good to like talk about the floor plan because as you know, a bride and a couple, they're visualizing what their table looks like. But you're like, honey, with your guest count, you have all 8-foot long tables.
Right.
You can't have your 10 or 8 foot rounds.
Yeah, it doesn't work for your guest count.
No, but that's where it's good to like talk about that in advance. And again, why a planner is so nice.
So nice. And we help with the floor plan as well too, because we know the space and we know what works and what doesn't work. So we're happy to be a part of that process as well.
What would you say has been like the most unique like add to a wedding that you guys have had?
This one stings a little because I missed it.
Oh, I'm ready now.
Is it the one I closed for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had this super cool, amazing, chill couple that had a totally different vibe.
Chill.
Yeah, chill
I'm like,
vibe.
where's this going?
I think they were
very Oregon. If that is that like a way to describe a couple?
I think they were like
very
the
Oregon.
first people to incorporate disco balls before disco balls kind of like blew up and took over, and it was kind of 70s. And
I love that.
but they had a band from Seattle do like a straight up concert at their reception. I missed it because I had COVID. So she had to take over for me, and
It was incredible.
So bummed to miss it. And I got the pictures back from the photographer, and I was like, this hurts. to look back and be like, oh, I missed it.
They set up a full stage, and they did draping on our ceiling that kind of all pointed to the stage, and then a disco ball was coming down right over the stage. It was just stunning. Something that I would never have envisioned looking at our space, but when it was all set up, I was just like, this is genius. Like, it's genius.
I think that's what has changed from like 2018 to 2014. It was just kind of doing the same thing for weddings, and then all of a sudden, a lot after COVID, it's like, how can we transform our space and be more open to ideas in the space? And be like, no, bring us these ideas.
Yeah.
We don't want to do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Do you think it's something that you would present to another couple to say, like,
Sure.
if you had the right couple, right? Like,
for sure.
Somebody did this, it was really epic, right?
Yeah, definitely takes a specific couple, I think, to be able to pull it off like they did. But yeah.
Yeah, we take photos of all of our super unique weddings, and we have albums that we share with couples of like past weddings so they can see all the different things that have been done in the space. Hers is in there, She did the dancing with the light up.
That is a perk.
That was cool.
That is a perk to actually have somebody on the property have a wedding at the property. I know I had that question a lot. Did you get married here too? Yes, I did. I think that was almost like reassurance, like, okay, it will be legit.
Right.
She got married here.
Yeah.
Especially since it was before I started working there.
Right.
Yeah.
That she had such a good experience that now she works there too.
Instead of already working there, be like, I'll just get married here. It's easy.
Yeah.
But,
Cool. So besides like seeing some of the trends that have come in and throughout 15 years in the last 4 years, what is one of your favorite trends that you like seeing on the property?
that's a hard one because there's so many things that look good in our space.
You're lucky.
That's how, like you said, every venue should be able to let the personality shine.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's what couples want now too.
Yeah.
They really want to make it personalized to them. Like the days of just throwing flowers on a table and
when you hear
setting up chairs.
And when you hear winery, you're like, oh, it's going to feel really like grapevine-y decor.
Yeah,
no. These venues want it to be naked, and so when you come in, you shine.
You put your touch on it.
Yeah, and we have that barn. It's real rustic. But it's also, like I said, farm sexy, hashtag that. But you can we've done everything from hay bales to hoedowns to black tie affairs.
Yeah,
you can do anything in this space.
Yeah. It's a blank slate, even though it's a good thing it's not white.
Right.
It has pretty rustic wood walls, but you can pretty much do any kind of decor in there you want. The only thing I don't like is when people do pipe and drape. and hide the pretty walls.
Or sometimes it's less is more.
Yeah.
Less is more, but you know,
sure.
draping is making a huge comeback.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And but honestly, I'm gonna be honest. When I first heard that draping was coming back, I was a little nervous too, just like you. And then when you see it done well,
Yeah.
It is really beautiful.
It is, and the intertwining that they're doing, it's like, okay, you
Yeah.
can come back.
I think it could be done very nicely in our space for
well,
sure.
it sounds like they even did it for that really cool disco ball.
Yeah,
They
that
did,
was
yeah.
cool.
Right?
Yeah.
But we've had other ones where they completely covered
Like
all
pipe
of
and
the
drape is a
character
little bit different,
with
right?
draping like on the ceiling. They completely covered all of the character, and it didn't fit our space.
Right.
Some venues can handle all of the draping possible, and it looks beautiful and better.
Yeah.
Ours, I feel like it takes away, but it's not my wedding anymore.
We let it happen.
They can do what they want.
So, if final question, what would you best advice to give a couple that's looking to have a wedding at a winery? What to look for when they are wanting one? Because I know a lot of couples who want to get married at a winery, they're maybe touring all the properties. So what would you say to look for when they are wanting to find the perfect one for them?
I think this goes for any venue. I don't think it necessarily has to do with a winery, but I think that ease and the flow of events from ceremony to cocktail to reception is really important. We're lucky that ours just flows really nicely, and I know maybe some other venues don't, where you go from here to here to here to here, and it's not just like this one big easy, like vendors really like working in our space. So I would tell them that, like, how does the event flow through the evening?
Okay.
Yeah, Alexis knows I'm huge on that, like the energy of going from one thing to the next.
Yeah, the transition's very important. I would also say for a lot of wineries, it's important for couples to know that a lot of times wineries are wineries who later decide to do events at their space.
True.
So they're not necessarily set up for the infrastructure to make it easy. We're kind of unique in that way that we built the building with the intention of hosting events.
Right.
And so we took all of those things into consideration when we were building the space. So I think, touring the space, so many wineries are so different. Some are very Mediterranean, some are very farmy, some are very modern.
Or farm sexy.
Yeah, or farm sexy. So finding one that speaks to you is really important, that kind of fits your vibe. But also, looking at the infrastructure and are they going to be open for a tasting room business while you're getting married?
Yeah,
Is it a
that's a
separate
big one.
space? Are there going to be other people on the property while you're there? Like, those are all really important things to ask a winery, because oftentimes events are a secondary business for them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would treat like a winery almost to me like a golf course.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's gonna be tasters enjoying the wine and touring, and while there's golfers having fun, leaving the golf ball in the hole.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, thank you two for making the drive to come sit with us today.
Thanks for
It was a
having
pleasure
us.
to
Thank
get
you.
to know you and the property.
Yeah.
And I know our team loves being there with a pastel shoot, which was fun.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you everybody for tuning into Wedding Day Podcast. We'll see you next time. Bye.